Give us a second, family. Wa alaikum salam. Amir Najib. Alhamdulillah. Marhab. Welcome. Just sharing all. Sharing this. Man, somebody called in already. We didn't even get started yet. We didn't open up already. 518. Call back, inshallah. Oh. Alrighty. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن سادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلديهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد السلام عليكم everybody, and wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to everybody who is joining us on Facebook Live and Mixler and who gave the greetings. Alhamdulillah, we were just sharing everything to our social media, and somebody's calling again. We ain't even introduced the show yet. Let's see what he wants. Assalamu alaikum. 518. You're on the air. You calling numbers. I don't want to call out your whole number. 518. Okay. Hanging up. These calling numbers are if you have a comment or a question, or want to add to the conversation. You don't need to call in to listen to the show. Why don't you share the Mixler? I'll do it. You seem like you kind of overwhelmed over there.
Thank you, alhamdulillah.
Thank you, alhamdulillah.
Oh, so this is the brother from 518.
Oh, okay, alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum.
You sure you got it not on mute?
Don't be exposing my faults. If I had it on mute, you're supposed to whisper it. Send a little write it on a little piece of paper or something.
Oh.
I was mute. I had it on mute for the ringer. I don't want it to ring like that. What am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing.
I'm gonna get it together in a second. Okay, bismillah, fadl. Go ahead.
Oh, you're just gonna make me jump in.
Like you do me out there, so I'm throwing you out there.
Alhamdulillah, we thank you all for joining in this evening. Alhamdulillah. As we promised, and Allah gave us permission, we are here again with you all. Alhamdulillah, I pray that your week was a blessed one. And I pray that whatever Allah has tested you with, mashallah. Okay. I pray that whatever Allah tested you this past week is and will make you stronger in this deen, in this life. before we are called to account. I mean. One thing I wanted to mention before we get started with the show, and there's so many things that I can mention now, but one thing that sticks out to me is that we have to stop spending our dollars in establishments that doesn't do us any benefit. That actually
we have to
does.
stop spending dollars
Where
in establishments that don't do us any benefit.
Yes. I said something wrong?
No. You don't know why I'm looking at you?
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, go ahead. Go ahead, no, go ahead. I ain't gonna throw you out there. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You live and you learn.
All right, man. Go ahead. We have to stop spending our dollars.
You know, I ain't saying nothing. We gonna go with the show.
Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
No.
I ain't gonna put you out there. Go ahead.
You already put me out there. I'm saying I'm putting you out there. You put me out there by putting.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't gonna say that. Go ahead.
No.
Man, make your point.
No, it's a couple of points. We already, if you haven't seen on the social media and such, that a couple of brothers were removed from a Starbucks restaurant a couple of days ago. They was removed by police in handcuffs because the owner, manager, whoever, called the popo on them, citing that they didn't purchase anything to be there. And so
the manager's name is Holly Hilton.
Holly Hilton, not the I, Hylton. And
in what city?
In Philadelphia.
What city?
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia is one of the chocolate cities in this country. I mean, gentrification is hitting them like many other cities, but Philadelphia is a black city, basically. You know.
Right.
Go ahead. I just wanted to throw that out there, context for people that don't know anything about Philly.
And so, you know, they didn't purchase anything. They was actually they were waiting for someone else to arrive,
right,
so they could have their meeting. So I'm assuming when that person had arrived, they would purchase their little coffee or what have you, you know, to sit there, you know, just would be appropriate. So the manager, as you said, called the popo and had them removed. And so the white people that were there were up in arms about it. Like, you wouldn't do that to me. I sit there all the time. I don't buy anything, you know?
It wasn't too much, you know. They still got arrested.
Yeah, still got arrested, but
there's a limit to the outrage.
Yeah, it is a limit to the outrage. But I'm just saying, like, people recognize it. They couldn't not recognize what was happening at the time. In Milwaukee, this is not something new, but recently, I believe this was recently, one of those beauty hair salons owned by Koreans. I'm not sure if they were Korean, Chinese, or what have you. But the Black Panthers out there rolled up to their spot because the manager, owner, what have you.
The Black Panthers?
Yeah, there's a Black Panthers in Milwaukee.
You mean the new Black Panthers?
The new Black Panther. The children of the Black Panthers, because the leader looked like he was a cub. Okay? Okay? He wanted to address the owner because the owner was accusing this young lady that had a baby in the carriage of stealing. And the owner went inside the car seat and was like digging in it. And she didn't have anything. Didn't apologize or anything like that. Right. Yes. Exactly. That's what I'm speaking about. So they was like, listen, you're not going to be coming. Oh, and also he was saying that the owner was calling the black girl a bee. Like, all y'all bees still. All y'all black bees still. You understand? So they came up there and let them know, listen, we're going to shut you down. Okay? And there must be something else in the store. I've sat in tons of Starbucks, haven't bought anything, has never asked to leave.
Okay, I'm going to continue.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So they came up there and said, we're going to shut you down because we're spending our dollars in your establishment. Mm-hmm. We're helping you to send money back home. Mm-hmm. So he was just basically saying that. So they were protesting and currently protesting. There's another situation. A young man, I forgot where this was. I don't know if it was, I forgot what state it was. He was in a Starbucks. And he asked for the code for the bathroom. And they wouldn't give it to him. But another young man, which was white, asked for the code, hadn't bought it anything, was given the code. So he was like, did you buy anything? He said, no, I didn't buy anything. I want to, use the bathroom first. Mm-hmm. So he followed the white man. He said, are you about to get something to eat? He's like, yeah, I'm about to get something to eat. So he had his camera, rolling, and went to the counter and was asking, like, he didn't buy anything. So why did you deprive me of the code and not the white dude with the code? Uh-huh. Okay. So this is the answer to the one that said must be more to it. What's to it is the skin color of these people that come into these establishments. That's the problem. They don't want us there. And so the point I'm making is we have to start building our own. Go to those places that benefit us. Right. You understand? We have people in our circles that have businesses like these, but we refuse to support them because we want it to be name brand. We want to be a certain, stature, according to some of us. We won't, support the ones that's already doing it. And then you wonder why a lot of business fail, because we do not support them. We rather support somebody else that don't even give a damn about us. That's the point blank. I mean, I'm not even saying whether they have to be Muslim or anything like that. I'm just saying people that actually care about you. They care about you spending your dollars there.
Wa alaikum salam.
Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh. So we need to stop going to these establishments. We already seen with Black Panther. We have the dollar power. It's no doubt. We have the dollar power. But we're very selective in where we put our dollars. And no one's saying, telling you what to do. But just think about it. When you put your dollar somewhere, how is it benefiting your community? A lot of us live in the hood where there's a lot of liquor stores and corner stores that selling all types of cummer and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. And y'all still go to those establishments and buy your little chips and juices and whatever. And you want to complain about why your community is the way it is, the condition in which it is in. All the drunkards and what have you, So, we have to stop and think and pay attention. Like you mentioned, the gentrification that's going on. Mm-hmm. Everybody complain about gentrification. Oh, the prices is going up and all that stuff. There were certain things that we could have been put in place. You could have bought some houses before the prices of property went up. You could have collectively come together. You may not have all the money, but some brothers and sisters that had the money say, hey, let's buy some properties together. We think on an individual level, not as a community level. And then that's why we fall short.
This is our problem because, generationally, we don't expect to survive. We act like children. Us adults, we act like children because a child, when he gets money, he uses it to buy candy and things that taste good, smell good, and look good. Mm-hmm. And adults, a lot of us adults, will do the same thing. You have a group or a community, and it'll be like 2 or 3 people saying, hey, let's buy some property, let's open up some businesses, and let's do this as a community. And everybody else will be like, even if they agree, they'll just, have the dumb look, like just, looking like a deer in headlights. Yeah, I support it. Yeah, I'm with that. It's about community. And they don't put no money into the community. They don't buy their house. They don't buy no new houses for themselves, or not. I don't mean new houses, just houses in these neighborhoods where you can actually afford it. But these same people, they will have. These are grown people. We're not talking about children. Mm-hmm. They have on the latest brand of sneakers, the newest release of whatever phone they like, whether it's an Android or one of the Android phones or the iPhone, and everything that the biggest TV, and they'll have all of this stuff, paying rent, mm-hmm. or complaining about paying rent, and then complain about, well, I gotta move, man. They look, this neighborhood is gentrified, but you was living in there when it wasn't gentrified. But you wasn't thinking and you wasn't paying attention to those who had enough foresight to even suggest the idea, hey, let's get some of these houses. Or let's move to this side of town so we can get some of these houses. And now, your situation is not stable because we think like children.
Mm-hmm.
Amy said, I simply can't understand how in 2018 racism still exists. I fail to see why anyone would hate a person for the color of their skin. Is disgusting. Well, this country and the worldwide system that we're under was built upon it. And Shaitan was the first racist. Mm-hmm. And, because he said, Ana khairu minhu, khalaqtani min narin wa khalaqtahu min teen. I am better than him, meaning Adam, you created me from fire and you created him from dirt. Mm-hmm. So anytime you see racism or any manifestation of it, you know that it's inspired by the Shaitan. And this society is built upon racism. At one time, it was like a flip of a switch in this country. They said, okay, because at one time, there was black people here who were free, who owned slaves. Black people here in this country who owned slaves. White people who owned slaves. Some white people were slaves. Some black people were slaves. But they recognized that in order to get this country where they wanted it to be, based upon free labor, it had to be something. It had to be something that something readily identifiable. They wanted to make a readily identifiable slave class. Mm-hmm. And so they chose black people. And literally, overnight, some of those black people who were slave owners became slaves.
Yep.
I forgot what year. This was in the 1500s. And then after that, they ticked up the transatlantic slave trade and they built this country. So, and they exported this system all around the world. So, and this is, again, this is a Pharaonic system. Because Pharaoh did the same thing in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, before the time of Musa, and it lasted up until the time of Moses, and until, Allah destroyed Pharaoh and his system. Because during that time, Bani Israel, the children of Israel, was the readily identifiable slave class. Mm. And there was no way up and out of that slave class. If you was from Bani Israel, you was slave. You was oppressed. And Allah describes this in the Quran. So this is a shaitanic, pharaonic system that we live in, and it's by design.
Mm-hmm. So we just wanted to put that out there, mashallah. So just.
What's your topic?
My topic for this evening is Muharramaat.
Muharramaat. Muharramaat. What's that mean? What that mean?
What that mean?
Mm-hmm.
What that mean is, well, I'm going to ask the audience. Muharramaat. What does that mean?
Muharramaat. What does that mean? The topic for today's show. Muharramaat.
Give them like.
We're going to give them what?
3 seconds.
3 seconds.
I wish I had the Jeopardy.
I'll be the Jeopardy. Doot, 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 doot. Is that how it go?
Nope.
What was wrong show?
I don't know what show that is.
What show is it? Oh yeah. Is that it?
Alhamdulillah. The 3 I'm stumped. Mashallah. It means women whom with marriage is prohibited.
Haram women?
Not the women, not haram. Well, I don't like that term. No, no. It's just the women that brothers cannot marry.
Women that brothers cannot marry.
Right. Okay. I not haram women. That sounds so like I don't know. But anyway, the reason why we chose this topic because it seems, and this is not all. Whenever somebody speaks on a topic, it's not saying everybody is doing it.
That's who's guilty of it, right? Anytime you talk about something, then somebody say, well, not all. Right?
So I'm just going to jump ahead of the horse and say it, not all. Somebody.
There's hardly anything you can say that applies to all. Right. I don't know why people say not all.
Not all, not everybody. Whatever. So No, but some. And this is just to educate those who may not know, because there's simply those who sincerely don't know. You know, all of us are not on, you know, on the same level. And some of us, you know, may not have gotten to know about this topic enough to understand it. Right. So we thought it would be a good topic because this is a Half Your Deen show. And we're here to, you know, promote healthy marriages and healthy relationships and such. And so these marriage to these women is either prohibited forever, okay, or two, some are not permanent. So for the time being, depending on the situation, it is.
Another word for not permanent is temporary.
Temporary, right, temporary, alhamdulillah. For temporarily prohibited until such a situation come about and it makes it no longer prohibited. So we're going to go into those things. So one, permanently prohibited, and the two, temporarily prohibited. So my question is, who can a brother marry?
Who can a brother marry?
Yeah, who can a brother marry? My listening audience, I don't want you answering. Who can a brother marry? I know y'all know these answers, so I know I'm just talking to the choir.
Can he marry another brother?
No. No.
I mean, some people need to be informed. I mean, this is 2018.
Yeah, it is.
But you did say Muharramaat, women.
Yeah, women, yeah.
But then you got the whole trans thing. So maybe in their mind, he's a woman now because he used to be.
No, he was a woman forever. When Allah decreed that person was a woman, that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about what you feel like today or what you think you are, despite what, you know, your physical appearance.
I just do that after to give the listening audience a chance to get their thoughts together.
Okay, a believing sister.
A believing sister.
A believing sister. Be specific. A believing sister.
Who can a brother marry?
Yeah.
Your question is too vague.
It is vague. It's very general.
You should ask who he can't marry.
Who he can't? Okay.
Cannot, yeah.
Who he cannot marry?
You want me to answer?
No. Who he cannot marry?
Okay, I'll set it off. His moms.
His moms.
His mother.
Right.
His moms and them.
Moms and them. We are going to look at Surah An-Nisa, ayat 22 and 23.
And he said his daughter.
Daughter, yes. If a man has a daughter, he can't marry her. And that line, who else he cannot marry? Because it stretches out. It stretches out. His daughter, paternal aunt, yes. His daughter's daughter. His grandchildren. His granddaughters.
Right.
His grandmother. Like someone mentioned, the mother. Okay?
Right.
You cannot, whether it's on the father's side or the mother's side. Right? So let's look at what Allah says that you brothers cannot. Right, niece. Right, niece. Also, when we go through this topic, we want to dispel this notion that you can just marry anybody while Muslim, especially as a Muslim woman. We have limitations. The men do not have such limitations. Okay? There may be couples who think their marriage is valid and it isn't. So this is very important. The three kinds of permanently prohibited marriages is either through kinship, as we are mentioning now, as everyone is mentioning, through fosterage.
What's fosterage?
Suckling, and through marriage. So through kinship, fosterage, and through marriage. So with the kinship, we mentioned the mother, we mentioned the grandmother, the great grandma, right? Maternal, right? Alhamdulillah. Your sisters, your paternal aunts, your maternal aunts, your daughters of brother. So if you have a brother, he have a daughter, somebody mentioned that you're not able to marry that woman. Now let me back up. Let me go back to verse number 22. That's verse number 23. Allah says, and I'm reading translation, and do not marry those of women whom your fathers had married, except what has passed. It is indeed shameful and detestable, and it is an evil practice. So you, as a Muslim brother, cannot marry your father's wife. Even if he committed zina with a woman, he didn't marry her, you cannot marry that woman. Okay? Even if he had illicit relations with the woman as his son, you cannot marry that woman. Alhamdulillah. So, what about stepdaughters? Can a man marry his stepdaughter?
Nope, not after consummation.
Not after consummation. So that means, brother, if you marry a woman and she has a daughter, let's just do both scenarios. He marries a woman, she has a daughter. And whether she's of age or not, it doesn't matter. But just say the daughter becomes of age, that woman and that man divorced, they didn't consummate. Can he marry that daughter? Yes. Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. But if he was to consummate with his wife and then divorce her, he cannot marry that daughter.
Ever, that
stepdaughter. Ever.
But
so what does that mean?
But I think that, there's some brothers that be trying to get at they stepdaughters. I don't think they're concerned about halal and haram.
And they need to be. They need to be.
Because they be sometimes getting with the daughter while they still married to the woman. So they're not concerned about halal and haram. They just foul.
They foul. And there are some brothers that's out there that are foul. He cannot be with that child.
He said, "Nah, B." you still back in NY? That's how your Bronx cats used to talk. Nah, B.
So no, brothers. You married to a woman, and you happen to see that he has a daughter. That's an adult. That's marriage material. If you know you want to marry that daughter, don't marry the wife.
Some cats is foul. They want to get in the situation.
If you know you feeling the daughter, and she's of age, go after the daughter. It's permissible. If she's of age and she's marriage material, don't go through the wife thinking, okay, if it don't work out, because after that, you can't go to that daughter. Mm-hmm. All right, so, mashallah. You have anything to mention?
Nope.
I knew you was going to say that. So, you cannot marry your own sister. People like, who does that? If it had not, Allah wouldn't mention it if not possible, or if it had not mentioned, it hadn't been. He wouldn't have mentioned it if it had not happened or as a possibility. Allah just don't just say things just to be mentioning that.
People's crazy. People's marrying trees, animals,
right?
Having kids with their sisters. Their daughters, and all. It's happening now.
Yeah, you have situations where daughters do not grow up with their father. And they meet them later in life, and they get married right now and having children, and they're saying that they have an attraction. I can't even imagine that, but there are people out there that's doing these things. Mm-hmm. So,
and we living in a time period now where people become Muslim, but they don't really submit. they become Muslim now, and they whatever they feel on any given issue, they try to make that Islamic, because I think it's right. I think this is the way Islam should be, and that's their mindset. This is the age we're living in right now. Mm-hmm. It's not the good old days where people had the mindset, well, whatever Allah and His Messenger have established, this is my opinion.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if I agree with that. Right? Is there a difference of opinion? No, it ain't no difference of opinion. Well, I don't know, man. That was back then. I mean, this is now. I mean, this is how people think.
Wa alaikum salam to Imani. She said, Dr. York, astaghfirullah. Right. So we're mentioning this because Allah mentions that, and He just telling us what the boundaries are. And I like how you had equate our Deen, our way of life, at the cookball on last Friday. The Deen is like a road. Mm-hmm. As long as you stay on the road, you good. You can go all like this. You ain't got to be straight. You can be, swerving. But don't go past the boundary. As long as you don't go past them rough edges. You know the rough edges on the side of the road? Mm-hmm. They wake you up if you fall asleep. The one you be hit. Or woke or sleep. As long as you don't go outside of those boundaries, you're good. It's no just one way.
Tilka hududullah. These are the boundaries of Allah.
So
do not transgress them.
Do not. Says in the Quran. Right. So as long as you stay on that path, you good. Now, Allah had mentioned sisters. I want to go back to sisters. Mm-hmm. This also apply to they say half, but your stepsisters. So if your father have other children from different mothers, even if it's a different mother. Of course, you can't be with your sister. That's your mother and your father. But if your
stepchildren,
yeah,
you talking about say if I was married to somebody,
right,
and my father,
father had other children.
They're my sisters.
Right, you can't marry them. We got to tell the people that people. But
you said stepsisters. That's not a stepsister. That's a half sister. What they call
they have half sister. Yeah.
In Islam, it's your sister. Period.
Right.
You got one parent that's saying that's your sister.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, and a stepsister.
No, a stepsister is, let's say, my father married someone else, and other than my mother, and that woman has children.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
No, that woman has children, not from my father. But from another marriage.
Oh, okay. I got it. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Thank you for clearing that up for me. Okay. So, your half-sisters is unlawful to you. Okay. And that means one cannot marry any paternal aunt from those situations. I'm sorry. I'm skipping. You cannot marry those half-sisters from the same father but different mother. And also marrying a half-sister from the same mother but different father. So say your mother have children with somebody else other than your father.
Right.
You cannot marry them.
That's still your sister.
Right. So y'all understand that? I don't mean to be confusing.
See,
Islam
keep it real simple. See, these people with half-sisters, step-sisters,
right.
and all that.
That's why I was getting all confused. Right.
If you have one parent the same, that's your brother. That's your sister. Period.
Right.
There's no half.
Right.
One parent the same, sister, brother.
MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Now we're just getting confused with the step. I'm just saying categorizing it. Thank you for correcting me. Alhamdulillah. Your paternal aunts. So, marriage with your real sister of one's father, his half-sisters from their father's side, and his half-sister from their mother's side is unlawful. Do you understand that?
No, read it again.
Let me read it. Marriage with the real sister of one's father, right?
Your aunt.
Right? Mm-hmm. The aunt. His half-sister from their father's side.
Still your aunt.
And his half-sister from their mother's side.
Still your aunt.
Still your aunt, okay? So, even though there may be different mothers, fathers, you still cannot marry.
Right.
Same thing with the maternal aunts and such. Daughters of brother. We mentioned that. Niece. Someone mentioned that before. Marriage with the sister of one's mother. No. It means that the marriage with one's nieces is unlawful, whether they are half, real, or any of the above that I mentioned before. Okay? Whether they have different fathers, mothers, or what have you. Same thing with daughters of sisters. Okay? And your mothers who suckled you. And I want you to get into that. As far as like the suckling.
The suckling is very simple. If someone nursed you, breastfed you, that woman is considered, for technical reasons, your mother. And likewise, just like it's prohibited to marry your real mother, it's prohibited to marry your nursing mother. And if she has daughters, they are considered your sisters. So it's haram to marry her. And everything that's haram with your blood is also haram with your milk family.
Right. So sisters, keep in mind, you know, sometimes sisters want to help out a sister and want to nurse. It's like, I'll nurse your baby. Some of us are that generous. Just know you are becoming this child's, technically, as you stated, their mother. So any rules and regulation regarding that applies to your relationship, applies to them. And as far as your other children, they have a established relationship now.
Right.
Okay, they're siblings now. So be mindful of that. So if you're going to do that, make sure you don't forget that happened, you know, umpteen years ago. You understand? Because later on, that brother and sister may marry. You understand? And then somebody didn't let anybody know, you know, your mother suckled him when, you know, he was a baby. And the way we think, I say in general and not specific, because it's not all, we want to do what we want to do. We in love.
Not everybody.
Now, I know it's not everybody. I'm in love. I want to do this. This is my prerogative. Mind your business. Only Allah can judge. Yada, yada, and so and so. So, it's important to know these things. No one just...
Millet to Tupac.
And translate?
The Deen, the religion of Tupac.
The religion of Tupac? You're so stupid.
Only Allah can judge me. No one can judge me. Forget what the Quran says. I'm doing what I want to do, and you can't say nothing or think nothing about it.
Right. So, that's something that you have to disclose. So, look. When people get married, there should be some disclosure going on, right?
No, we're gonna keep everything secret.
Nah, that's the point. You disclose it.
We're gonna keep the marriage itself secret.
They're gonna have to, but that's why the family should be involved, because then that disclosure.
That's only if you're trying to stay married. You have the families involved.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know.
A lot of people ain't trying to stay married.
May Allah guide us and them. I mean. So, there's a different opinion about the number of sucklings. There's a hadith I had read about 1 or 2 doesn't establish it. But if it's a session, you know, babies, they sucking till whatever. You know what I mean? It's going to be more than 1 and 2. If you are a mother and you've suckled your children. Mashallah. So that's prohibition.
Permanent prohibitions.
That is permanent prohibition, right? So that's part of that, because we mentioned the permanent and the temporary. What's the next one I wanted to mention? So hold on.
La-di-da. Hold on.
The wives of your sons from your loins is unlawful. So you have a son, he has a wife, you cannot marry her if something happened, whether they divorced or the son died. Right? Okay, y'all got that? You cannot marry your son's wife. I don't care how good she look. I don't care how bad she is.
And that goes the other way around, too. The son can't marry his father's ex-wife. Obviously, it's not his mother, but someone else. Like, say his father married someone else, and the father die or they get divorced. The son can't turn around and marry that woman.
Right.
There was actually a situation where a Sahaba lost his life behind doing that.
Yeah, that's the first ayat. Mashallah. The next person that you cannot, I gotta figure out how to stop that. 2 sisters, brothers. You know, a sister got a twin, got another sister. You cannot marry them both
At the same time.
at the same time. So that's I'm not gonna say temporary. It's prohibited for you to marry them at all. There's no situation will change that.
Right.
But if you were to divorce her, or if she was to die, then you can marry the other sister if you happen to be still interested, and if she's still interested in you, if she's still available. Because there's no guarantee.
But you have to make sure, if that was your situation, you have to make sure that the iddah is complete for the first sister. Because you are still technically married to a woman if she's in that iddah. Especially if it's her first, if it's the first or the second pronouncement. Because you can always take her back without any new marriage contract or anything. So you just can't say, I divorce you and say, all right, I'm gonna marry her sister right now. You have to wait till the iddah is up.
Exactly. Yeah, I got that. So if he divorces her, that iddah period has to have expired before you can ask the other sister if she's still interested, or if you still interested, whatever the case may be, before that can go down.
In a lot of traditional Muslim societies, if a couple is married and the husband dies, many times it's that husband's brother that will marry the wife anyway. That's normal.
Yeah.
In a lot of societies because the interest of the children is kept. Because who's going to love and take care of the children more than, an uncle?
Right. Mashallah. Yes, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam married 2 of his daughters to Uthman ibn Affan.
That's right. That's why Uthman ibn Affan is known as Dhul Nurayn, the possessor of 2 lights. Because he's the only one in history, and obviously will be, because there's no more prophets coming after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even though some of you have doubt about that, I don't know, if Muslims have a doubt about that. Well, a lot of you have a doubt about that, but he's the only one in history to have ever married 2 daughters of a prophet.
Mashallah. What's the obvious? Whom you cannot marry
Temporary?
permanently.
Are we still on permanent?
Well, it's permanent. It's prohibited at the time being, but it can be undone. Depend on the situation.
I have a question right quick. Paul Pesky said, I only need 1 wife. I'm just curious.
What the?
Are you single? Because usually being with single brothers, I only need 1 wife. Right? We all in all the sisters groups and everything. Only 1 wife satisfy me. I only need 1.
We're not even talking about polygyny. We're just talking about you can't have 2 sisters.
We have people talking about Juma and all kind of stuff in the beginning. Right?
We ain't even talking about that.
Topic, right?
Stay on topic.
Right.
Focus. This is
sign language.
Sign language. The ASL. Focus.
Okay. Let's see.
What's the obvious one?
Obvious.
Yeah, the obvious one that is prohibited.
I don't know, because I thought we finished the permanent prohibition.
Do y'all know? Assalamu alaikum. Aki and Nukti, I have a question. Is marriage mandatory or recommended?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
Well, I'm trying to answer your question first.
Okay. I'll wait for our listening audience to answer that question. What's the obvious?
Y'all there?
Yeah, are y'all there? Are y'all there? Hello?
She said, what's the obvious
Prohibition in regard to...
I thought the obvious one was your mother. That's the obvious one.
No, it's another one. It's another one.
An obvious one.
An obvious one. She did. Immediate. We already established immediate family, but it's an obvious one. It's like, duh, like, I should have known that. I got y'all stumped.
I don't know if it's obvious to me. I don't know if this is what you mean. What, a disbeliever?
Nope.
Or what?
Nope.
Okay. Grandma?
We already established grandmother. When the law mentions mothers, mothers.
A woman already married.
Sons don't. We already mentioned that.
A woman already married.
Yes, Mark what? Bingo, bingo, ding, 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 ding. When she's already married. So some people out there marrying sisters that's already married.
Let's stop there. Let's park the car right there. Let's park and stop right there. I'm glad you mentioned that.
Isn't that obvious? That's obvious. Yeah, that's obvious that you cannot marry a married woman.
But this is also why it's important that sisters, I'm talking to you, when you're married, and if Allah forbid your marriage comes to an end, you have to make sure your marriage is technically ended. Because a lot of us will be in a marriage and the marriage will dissolve, or the relationship go to the toilet, and y'all just move out. Something like the brother will leave or the sister will leave, and that's it. Like, now we've been divorced. How many times he pronounced it? Pronounce what? Like, huh? Because divorce is very serious and it's very technical. It's very serious and it's very technical.
Yes.
Because if you say something like, I divorce you, and using clear language like that, that divorce counts. It counts. Even if you're joking. That's why you shouldn't joke like that. But if you say something like, you know what? I'm out of here. It goes by your intention. Because I'm out of here could mean, you know what? I'm tired of arguing with you. I'm leaving the house.
Right.
But it could also mean, you know what? I'm tired of being married to you. I'm out of this marriage. So whatever you intended when you said that, that's the reality of it. If you intended, I'm just going to leave and get my space. Okay, that don't mean no divorce. But when you said that, if you meant I'm divorcing you, that's what it is. It's a divorce.
Even if you cooled off later and said, "Well, I didn't really mean it," you did mean it at that particular time.
And even if you lied to the imam or anybody else about it, with Allah, it's a divorce.
So some of y'all are in marriages where the husband say, "I'm tired," and he meant, I don't want to be married to you no more. He probably didn't say those particular words, but in his heart, he's meant that. Your marriage is not valid. So what did the Prophet said about those that are angry? What he advised the man? Don't get angry. He said it 3 times. Cause why? Cause we regret what we say later. We say stuff on the heat of the moment. It just stuff just come out, and then later on you think about it like, dang, I wish I hadn't said that. I didn't mean that. I wish I could take it back. No.
That's why it's important for sisters to marry men, not just grown males. You have to marry men who are in control of their emotions.
SubhanAllah.
A lot of women are married to grown children because the man is not in control of his emotions. And that's why, again, Allah put the keys of divorce in the hand of the man.
Of the rijal.
Yeah.
Rajal.
Not the dhukur, not the male, rijal, the men. He didn't put divorce in the hand of the woman. A woman has a couple of hoops she got to jump through to get a divorce if she wants out. And the husband don't want out. She got some hoops to jump through. Right. A man can just say, I divorce you. Right. Right. And that's why it's important that sisters marry men and not grown males, grown boys. A grown boy, you'll be married to him, you get an argument, I divorce you. Right? You know, he'll snap out.
Mm-hmm.
What are you snapping out for, brother? I know women know how to push out buttons, but women are known for snapping out. You and your wife snapping out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Laysul shadidu bisur'ah," that the strong one is not the one who can fight or wrestle. وَلَكِنُ شَدِيدٌ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُ النَّاسَ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ. The strong one, the strong one is the one who can control himself when he's angry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So just because a brother can knock someone out, or he knows 10 different forms of martial arts, he's a black belt in all of them, and you know he can climb up the side of the building, and you know he can disappear and pop up again and beat up 10 people, and he's real good with a gun. If he's not in control of his emotions, he's not strong by the definition of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
So if a woman,
I can read it. So if a woman abandons her husband and he doesn't say, I divorce her, she's still married then. That's correct.
Mm-hmm. And we mentioned the iddah period.
Mm-hmm.
The iddah period in a khula and also in a divorce, talaq,
Mm-hmm.
it's 3 menstrual cycles. I don't know where y'all got this 1 menstrual cycle. And don't bring me that hadith about that one situation.
Because if you go to the hadith...
Don't bring me that.
If you go to that one isolated, restricted hadith, if you go to that hadith, for example, the riwayah in Abu Dawood,
Mm-hmm.
even Abu Dawood says right after the hadith that we don't act upon it.
Right.
If you go to any fiqh, any method, they will tell you that the iddah of the muqalla'ah, the one who's divorced by means of talaq, is the same as it is, who's divorced by means of a khula. Her iddah is the same as the one that's divorced by talaq.
Right. So it's 3 menstrual cycles, not 3 months. So that means if her menstrual cycle is off, it isn't consecutive. Maybe maybe he divorced her, or she got a khula in February. She don't get another mens till April. She don't get another mens till July for whatever reason. She don't get another mens until December. Guess what? That was the iddah period. That whole time.
Yep.
That's that road. That's that road. Okay? Also, we have to mention women that you cannot marry.
Stop. We ain't finished. I ain't finished talking about the woman that's already still married.
Okay, go ahead.
Because the real point that I wanted to emphasize, and I've seen it so many times, a lot of women don't know if they still married. The brother done moved out, or in their minds they're not married to each other, they don't speak to each other no more, or whatever, but they haven't Islamically terminated that marriage.
What should they do?
But let me finish making my point. Marriage and divorce is a form of worship, just like your salat.
Right.
When you get into your salat, when you make your salat, you don't just start, like if it's dhuhr, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't just pray, I don't know. How many rakats you made? I don't know, 5 or 6. You don't do that. No, you count your rakats. And if you didn't make enough, or you think you didn't make enough, or you thought you made too many, there's ways to rectify that. Because it's an act of worship.
Right.
You want to give Allah what you're supposed to give it, what you're supposed to give Allah, how you give it.
Right.
And our marriage is the same way.
Okay.
And our divorce is the same way. It's an act of worship. It's just not about you.
Right.
Right? And so you have to know, if you're in a marriage, you have to know, okay, he pronounced it one time. We got back together, but we got one divorce, one pronouncement.
Right.
You got to add that stuff up. You got to count.
Right.
And you got to keep count.
Right.
A lot of people get married, they don't keep count. I mean, I divorced my wife. How many was it? Right? They don't know.
Mm-mm.
And so this is worship. And you better know, because if it's more than 3, y'all not really married no more.
Y'all still together? Y'all doing everything like married people?
And if you're doing everything like married people, that's considered zina, fornication and adultery. And you're getting a sin every time you do it. And so you need to start taking it a little bit more serious.
Not a little bit, a lot.
Thinking about like your salat. You don't just play, well, You made salat. How many rakats for Dhur you made? I think I made 3. At least I prayed.
Yeah.
Right? You don't do your salat. I should hope you don't do your salat like that. You shouldn't do your marriage like that.
Subhanallah.
So I gotta catch up on some of these comments. Me and my wife know a sister who got paid to marry a man. Huh? Okay, got paid to marry a man from another country, so he could get citizenship, and she married another brother before legally divorcing the foreign guy. There's not enough information there, but I wouldn't recommend that. I wouldn't recommend that because that entails some deception. I'm assuming that the sister married the brother legally on paper, but went someplace else and got Islamically married to someone else. I don't know, but I wouldn't. What are you about to say?
Nah, like it depends on how she got married. Does she have a Islamic marriage? If she had a nikah, and if she had a nikah, she can't just do that because her intention was to do the citizenship. She got to go through the whole cycle, and that's just messy.
Yeah,
that's just messy.
And I know these brothers from overseas be offering y'all a lot of money, man. Don't do it.
Yeah, don't sell yourself. That's like being a hooker or you being pimped out for your citizenship to provide citizenship for somebody else. You're hoeing yourself out, and it has no. That's not for Allah. That's for just to get some money. And is that worth it to do all that? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you consummating these marriages? We
always look for the get rich quick scheme. That's the problem. And sometimes, these brothers be offering $2 and $5 and $10 and $15,000 just to get here, whatever. And they coming a lot of times. If they doing that, they're coming from a poor country, but they can get up $2 and $5 and $10,000 to marry somebody to get here.
Right. So how is that possible? Then think about this. You do all of that, right? And they come here, and they start cutting up, doing all types of munkar, right? Mm-hmm. It's on you. Yep. You open that door up. Yep. He out here fornicating and going to jail, selling drugs, whatever it is, the fitna that he causes here, that's on your plate, sister. That's on your plate, brother. And a lot of times, the situation's so messy is that you trying to get that person over here, and they already got somebody in line that they want to be with. They just need a opening. Yeah. It's just some messy stuff.
Kevin said basically divorce is not a game or a toy to be played with.
Exactly.
Very messy, yeah. What if a woman has no menstrual cycle? So what is her iddah? Her iddah, if she has no menstrual cycle, and I'm assuming obviously she's not pregnant or not, if the husband died and she's a widow, her iddah is 4 months and 10 days. 4 lunar months and 10 days. Again, why sighting the moon is so important. Right. And by the way, we sighted the moon for tonight, for the month of Sha'ban, the month before Ramadan, and as far as I know, none of us saw it. So we still in Rajab for one more day, and then tomorrow Maghrib will start the month of Sha'ban, the month before the month of Ramadan. Anyway, and so if she has no menstrual cycle, then her iddah is 3 lunar months.
Because there's a possibility, because some women don't have it for whatever reason.
Right. Some of them brothers don't even tell the woman they doing. They just married for the green card visa. Yep. They be doing all this lovey-dovey stuff online. It be online too. Yeah.
My beautiful princess. I want to.
You just met the brother. You just accepted his friend request. I loved you before I sent the friend request.
I dreamed about you.
And some of them talk real good too.
They got the game. They got it. Ooh, they got the Mackin lessons going on.
Yeah. I had a dream about you. Then I went down my news feed and saw you. That's why I friend requested you. And I love you so much.
Ooh. You got to be careful. Not everybody. Let me put that disclaimer out there. Not everybody wants a green card or want to come here through you, and not everybody. But people are sincere. They really want to get married.
Just think about it. There's people that's literally risking their life. A lot of them are dying trying to get here. Literally dying.
Yeah.
They're making the journey to get here in other Western countries, knowing before they start the journey that they might not make it. They know if they go through certain places, like Libya, I might be made into a slave. If I go through here, I might die in the Mediterranean Sea. Here, I might get shot. I may die, whatever. And they say, you know what? It's worth it.
Right. Yeah.
So if all of that is worth it to them,
yeah, they gonna go.
It's nothing to be on Facebook telling you that they love you.
Yep. And it's like I'm gonna snag somebody because they'll have a whole lot of friends that they go through. Yeah. Hi, look, hi.
Yeah.
You busy? Salaam alaikum.
Or you accept a friend request, and all of a sudden your messenger start ringing. Like, who the hell is this calling me? Anybody? Listen, I'm letting you know. For me, anybody that know me, don't call me through message. You call me through my phone.
Exactly.
You got to get permission. You got to get idhin. You got to get an ijazah to call me on Messenger. We done already talked or inboxed, and I said, okay, you could call me at such and such time.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. SubhanAllah. So yeah. So you had mentioned it already about hello, Anan. How you doing? I seen you last week, alhamdulillah. I didn't respond. It slipped my mind. I'm glad to see you again.
A lot of things slip your mind.
Yes, I am. That's my shortcomings. One of many shortcomings, alhamdulillah. Yeah, you have
Why are we on your shortcomings? Let's make a list.
You know what?
Good.
As far as like the widow,
mm-hmm.
and a brother want to marry her,
mm-hmm.
you have to allow her to wait out her iddah, which is 4 months and 10 days.
No smooth talking before.
Nope. No making plans, nothing. Y'all not even supposed to, plan anything. You could say, well, through somebody else, you think she'll, will take me as her man or whatever. But it's not like an official.
An overt, outright.
Right. So.
And that's even for the one who's a widow. Not to speak of the one whose husband's still alive, or soon-to-be ex-husband is still alive.
Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I want you. I'm glad it didn't work out with y'all. I was waiting, and I was just waiting. I knew it wasn't going to work out. You ever, make people like that? They are so slimy.
Yeah.
They are slimy. So if he's doing that to you, he been waiting on a whole bunch of other ones, too. I'm waiting.
How some people check with you to keep their finger on your pulse? I have some people that do that to me. Mm-hmm. Like, they check in every now and then to see where my mind is at, right? Because when I know when people do that, sometimes when people do that to me, I'm like, they must think I got some dirt on them, right? They want to see if we still cool, right? There's some people that keep the pulse of your marriage.
Yep.
You married and they keeping the pulse of your marriage.
So y'all good? They don't say it all right. Like, how's the family?
Yeah.
Is everything good?
Everybody that say how the family don't really care about your family. They trying to do some algebra, right? They trying to subtract and add, right?
They on Facebook reading stats like, wait a minute, so he said this, and then I went on her stat, and she said, so it must be something going on there. Let me see.
Let me send a couple of extra likes her way. Right?
That's a mess.
They checking the marriage status. Oh, she's single now. MashaAllah, I just seen your marriage status, sister. You single? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it ain't work out. We'll do it. MashaAllah. Right. I'm here if you ever want to talk.
So we mentioned, for the most part, who the brother cannot marry. Mm-hmm. And it works vice versa. Well, who the sister cannot marry. Right? Obvious. Okay, yeah. So know that. Yes, we was addressing who the brothers aren't allowed to marry, or whatever the case may be, whether it's permanently or temporarily. But the sisters are prohibited from marrying certain brothers as well.
Right.
Who that may be. My brother. I'm putting you on the spot. Who sisters cannot marry?
Her father. Right? You want me to do the reverse of everything we just did?
No.
Okay.
We already established that. Okay. Everything we said is in reverse. That sister cannot marry that brother that isn't in that situation. But on the other hand, the sisters have a prohibition in regards to who she can marry. That is unlike the Muslim brothers.
She can't marry a man who has 4 wives.
Right. Okay. Well, I didn't think about that one. No, she cannot marry a brother who has 4 wives. That is correct.
And if he divorces one of them, her iddah has to be complete first.
Right. Michael Alter said non-Muslims.
Right.
Ding, 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 ding. You actually have, in 2018, Muslim women marrying non-Muslim men.
Who are you to judge?
And who am I to judge? Who am I to judge?
Don't judge her.
Don't judge her? How is a Muslim woman...
The non-Muslim man going to treat her better than the Muslim.
I've heard that. The non-Muslim, they treat the Muslim brother, the Muslim better than the Muslim brothers. Non-Muslims, they know how to treat a lady. That may seem like the case, but there's no barakah in that. Right hand possession. Who the woman? I didn't know a woman have a right hand possession.
That actually happened during the time of Umar.
Oh yeah.
Yes. A woman had a slave dude, and she was with the slave dude, and it got back to Umar. So Umar wanted to impose a punishment of zina, and Ali ibn Abi Talib, Karamallahu wajhahu, may Allah ennoble his face,
Amen,
advised him no, because when you investigate, you're gonna find out that she crazy. No woman would do that, and that was the case. So she was excused. Not that she was allowed to continue cohabiting with him, but
she was Majnun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. During the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, can you elaborate about the marriage situation of the sisters and the brothers? Remember when they left, there was agreement that whoever was in Mecca and they came to Medina, that the Prophet was to send them back. But there was a conditions about the people that were sent back. It applied differently from the male and the female. I'm putting you on the spot.
You lost me. You got to answer that one.
My listening audience, can someone elaborate regarding the Treaty of Hudaybiyah? Said, we judge by what's apparent. What she said? We judge by that which is apparent, mashallah. So anyone can elaborate regarding the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, regarding the believers, whether they were male or female. When they, the agreement was those that were in Medina who left to go back to Mecca was to be, where they were to be sent back to Medina. Like if it was a woman, she was married to such and such or what have you in Mecca and came to Medina, well, she's to be sent back to Mecca. Anybody can elaborate on that situation? I thought that was pretty interesting. I was reading about that. I put you on the spot, didn't I?
Yeah. You got me.
You got me. Alhamdulillah. Hold on. And it's regarding the Surah Ayat Surah Al-Mutahina. Surah 16. Surah 16.
What was your question?
Regarding
what was the question?
The question was, elaborate on the situation, whether you were from Mecca or Medina, your marriage, your current marriage situation, how was that determined if you had went to the other side? When there was a treaty that if somebody come from this side, they got to go back. If they come from this side, they got to go back. How was the marriage situation? Because, there were people that were married to certain people at the time, whether they were Muslim or not. So I wanted to know. Surah 60, Ayat 10. Let me read that ayat. Give me one moment. Since we were on the subject of the Muslim women not being able to marry non-Muslim women. Here it is. And this is the translation. O you who believe, when the believing women come to you as immigrants, put them to a test. Allah knows best about their faith. So if you find them faithful, do not send them back to the disbelievers. Neither these women are lawful for them, nor are those disbelievers lawful for these women. And give them, the disbelievers, that which they have paid to these women, meaning the dowry. And there is no sin for you if you marry them when you give them their dowries. And do not hold on to the ties of marriage with disbelieving women and ask their new non-Muslim husbands to pay you that dower which you have paid to such women. And they, the previous non-Muslim husbands of the Muslim women, should ask their new Muslim husband to pay that dower which they had paid to their previous wives. That is the decision of Allah. He decides between you, and Allah is all-knowing, all-wise. This right here was deep. So anybody can elaborate on that situation? I thought this was my first time really looking into that. So one of the terms of the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, was that if any person who goes away to Medina from Mecca, the Prophet ﷺ will send them back to Mecca. But if any person goes away to Mecca from Medina, he will not be returned. The wording of this clause are general, apparently covering both men and women. So, you hear what I said? You are in Mecca. You come to Medina.
Sent back.
You sent back. If you leave from Medina to Mecca, you will not be returned. You can't come back.
Right.
What is that? What is that assuming? What is the situation? Why wouldn't you be sent back to Medina? Medina is a place where, the Prophet ﷺ is. They're established there.
But you apostated.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, alhamdulillah, I wanted to get into a situation. Hold on. Give me one moment.
Come on with this one moment.
Where Allah says testing the believing immigrant women, right? These women, since it was possible that a woman had fled from Mecca, not because of her faith. Some women left Mecca because they was tired of their husbands. And they wasn't fleeing to Medina fi sabilillah. So they were put under scrutiny about what you coming here for? Right?
Right.
And so that was putting their faith to test. So they had them to testify whether or not, what was their motive? What's your motive for coming here?
Right.
And so such women are not exempted from the terms of the treaty, but is incumbent to send her back. They used to send them back. You didn't come here for Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You came here for some whatever reason. They used to send her back. But if it was a Muslim woman, in that case, that was married to a non-Muslim man. And she passed the test that she did this for Allah and His Messenger, the Prophet ﷺ dissolved her marriage to a non-Muslim husband. And what he did, in addition to that, from the Baitul Mal, they paid that non-Muslim husband her dowry at the public treasury. And if you remember the next part, talking about if you was to marry them, to pay them the dowries, it was to let the Muslim men know you can marry her now, but don't think you don't have to pay her dowry because a dowry was paid towards the non-Muslim husband.
Right.
I was like, subhanallah. So the community was involved. That public treasury, it wasn't like just out of that person's pocket. That Muslim man had to pay that dowry back to that non-Muslim husband.
We got a call coming in. Hold on.
Okay. Make sure it ain't on.
You on the air.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, subhanAllah. I was calling to listen. I didn't know I'd be on the air, subhanAllah.
Man, we not on Blog Talk Radio no more. I can't.
I work, I ain't got my headphones, so I apologize.
That's no problem. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
So, only Allah knows what was in the person's heart. But this is during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So those that came, before the Prophet, would you think that they would just, lie like wouldn't pass this test? If somebody is real or fake or what have you. So the method, according to Ibn Abbas, an oath used to be taken from an immigrant woman to assert that she had not come because of hatred for her husband or for even the love of any man in Medina. She might have came there to get with her boo. Right? And not for purely and solely for the sake of Allah. When she swore an oath to this effect, the Prophet ﷺ will permit her to reside in Medina and will return to her disbelieving husband the dowry. So that was the test. You had to make her swear an oath. We live in a day and time, people word used to be your bond. It used to be way back. Your word was your bond. When somebody said they gonna do something or whatever, that was it. And that was enough. These days and time,
people, they'll
look straight you in your face and will lie like nothing. Like they won't flinch. They won't do the, the subtleties of movement. Like somebody asks you a question, you look down real quick and say, you can tell when a person lied because your body just reacts to that lie.
And on top of that, people lie. Like it could be a group of us. I could be lying to you, and a brother over there knows that I'm lying, and I'll be still telling a lie, knowing that he know the truth right there. We just keep lying.
Yeah.
This type of time period we live in.
So, they will return. If she passed that test, pay the dowry to the husband. Okay? Hold on.
1 minute.
So, when the believing women come to you seeking bay'ah with you, right? They're not gonna take this oath of loyalty, knowing that they gonna go backtrack, on that oath.
Right.
They taking it, so they giving bay'ah. So this is proof about bay'ah. You giving bay'ah. You've been given an oath. When you give an oath, you have an obligation to withhold and uphold that oath. Right. Whether it's to serve Allah, like your oath is to serve Allah and to follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's a bay'ah. He gave bay'ah to the women, so it wasn't just the men. It ain't just a man thing. Okay. So if you find them faithful, do not send them back to the disbelievers. Neither these women are lawful for them, nor the disbeliever loyal for these women. That is to say, neither the believing women are permitted to remain in marriage with the unbelieving men, nor are the unbelieving men permitted to marry them again. So you came there married to a non-Muslim. You a Muslim now. It was not permitted for you to stay married to this person. So sisters, there may be sisters that are married to a non-Muslim. She took Shahada. You need to teach your husband, your current husband, about the Deen that you have accepted. You love this person. You trying to save yourself. I will hope you want to save your partner. Tell them about the Deen of Islam so that they can accept it too. You can't force anybody to accept the Deen. There's no compulsion in religion. We know that. But it's important to understand that once you've indicated that, and some sisters are not telling nothing to their husbands. They're living their lives out, having children getting older. It's all love. And you married to a husband that's not a believer like you. That marriage is not valid. You are committing fornication with this person. Yes, y'all married. Yes, this was before Islam, but he has to take his shahada as well.
And he has a grace period. He has like 3 months or so to take shahada.
But I don't think the sisters are informing them of that. They're not saying anything. They just say, oh, this is just what I believe. And he said, okay, that's good. You do you, whatever, and I'm going to do me. No, y'all got to be in this together if y'all want to remain together. Y'all gonna have to part, and if he taking shahada, then alhamdulillah, y'all can remarry and get back together. Okay? But here, during the time of the Prophet ﷺ, that marriage, he couldn't get back with his wife. So what makes you think you could get back, you could be with your husband, you know, your non-Muslim husband now?
Because nobody can judge them.
Exactly.
2018.
It's 2018. Nobody can judge
The
me.
religion of Tupac.
Yeah, religion of Tupac. And
another thing, on that same note, a man can't marry a disbeliever. A lot of brothers don't know that.
Right. That's true.
A man cannot marry a disbeliever. A Muslim man can marry a disbeliever who is from what's called Ahlul Kitab, the people of the book, meaning a Jewish or a Christian woman. Now, some women, they try to say, and I heard some men say too, but if she believes in the Trinity, you know, she can't marry. No, that's not true. You're not reading the books of Tafsir. Even though she may believe in the Trinity or what have you, that man can still marry her. And it's considered a rukhsah. It's considered a dispensation. It's something that's allowable. It's not the primary choice. We did a show on this a while ago.
Yeah.
With all of the proofs and everything. But it's the verse in Surah Baqarah was revealed first, prohibiting Muslim men from marrying non-Muslim women. Said, do not marry the mushrikat. Do not marry the mushrik, the disbelieving women until they believe, even though she may allure you. That was revealed in Surah Al-Baqarah first. And then after that, Allah revealed in Surah Al-Imran, Surah Ma'idah, Surah number 5, that permitted for the men or believing women, chase women from amongst the believers, as well as chase women from among the people of the book. So that's why it's important to understand the Quran in context. Generally speaking, the general rule, a Muslim can only marry a non-Muslim. A Muslim can only marry a Muslim. Period. That's the general rule. And then Allah allowed a dispensation that among these disbelievers, that the Muslim men can marry a Jewish or a Christian woman only, no other type of disbelieving women. And because a lot of Muslims have in their mind, you got Muslims, you got Christians and Jews, and then you got disbelievers. No. You got Muslims and you got disbelievers. The Christians and Jews are a type of disbeliever.
Right. And disbeliever only means that you didn't accept Islam as your deen.
There are a lot of ways to be disbelievers.
Right.
One of those ways is not accepting Prophet Muhammad.
Sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Right. So a lot of people think that because a Muslim man can marry a Jewish or a Christian woman, that somehow that gets blurred into just a non-Muslim woman. Like if the woman say, I'm not Christian, I'm not Jewish, you can't marry her. If she says, I'm Nation of Islam, you cannot marry her. She's a disbeliever. She believes that Elijah Muhammad is a prophet. You can't marry her.
Right.
If she 5%, if she a Hebrew Israelite, you cannot marry her.
Well, let me drop this.
And also, she has, Allah says, Muhsinat min utul kitab. Chase women from people of the book.
Right.
She has to be chased. She can't be like committing zina and everything like that and be a Christian or a Jew. Like, well, I'm going to marry her. She's not chaste.
Right.
If she's sleeping around.
Right.
So that's the proper context. A lot of people think, okay, she's Christian, but she believes in the Trinity, so the brother cannot marry her. That's not true. He can marry her. Then they say the Christians didn't believe in the Trinity at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Yes, they did.
Yeah, they
and
did.
The Christians they interacted with believed in the Trinity. That's why Allah addresses it in the Quran.
Right.
So don't try to change the Book of Allah, change the Sunnah just to be to coincide with your feelings. That's not the case. We have to be honest.
Right.
Trinity is not a factor in determining the type of Christian Muslim man can marry. Even if she's a Unitarian Christian, which is not too many out there, or what we know as Trinitarian Christians, he can marry her. Islamically, is that the first person that he should marry? No. In fact, and there's a lot of discussion about this, because during Umar's time, when Islam spread way past Arabia and in these different lands, some top Sahaba married Christian or Jewish women. And some of them, not all of them, some of them, Umar wrote letters to them saying, divorce your wife. He ordered to divorce your wife. And they wrote him back like, whoa, are you saying that it's prohibited? And he say, I'm not saying it's prohibited. Because he couldn't say that, because Allah made it permissible. But divorce your wife anyway. Right? He's like, well, why you tell me to divorce my wife if it's not prohibited?
Right.
And he was saying, he said, listen, because you are a Sahaba, you are a companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. People are getting their Islam from you. He said, if you make it your habit to marry these non-Muslim women who are walking around showing their fineries, whatever, then the weaker Muslims are going to turn around and follow you and leave our Muslim women with no husbands, because Muslim women are covering everything like that. Yep. And you marrying these non-Muslim women, these Christians and Jews who may not be covering and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so, and there's a long discussion on that. So, and I think it's beautiful because it illustrates the practicality of what Allah revealed in the Quran. Because He said, divorce your wife. Is it prohibited? I'm not saying it's prohibited, but divorce your wife. Right. All right, go ahead.
So what I wanted to drop on you, according to Abu Hanifa, how you would determine a situation, how it's supposed to go. The ruler in that country will reach out to that husband, non-Muslim husband, and say, hey, do you accept Allah and His messenger? You know, give him dawah. And if he accepts it, she remains with him. Right. Point blank. Right. She remains with him.
No new marriage.
No nothing. It continues on. So those that are married to a husband that is not Muslim, you became Muslim, and he accept the Deen. You don't have to have nikah. You don't have to have a second marriage ceremony, anything. It just continues on because people think that I'm married to him. I don't have to change anything. Y'all Deens are different. Your belief system is different. So that should be something that should be discussed. Especially if you're in a situation, you about to take your child and you with somebody and you know it's going to have an effect on your relationship. You need to talk to them and communicate to them, saying, look, I'm intending to do this. How do you feel about that? Because depending on who they come into, they may not even know if they could stay with them or not initially. But just let them know, I'm about to embark on this new path. Are you with me or not?
And this is also why it's important for, number one, Muslims to be connected with a community, and that the community have some people with some basic knowledge in it. Because a lot of what we just said, a lot of imam stuff don't know this stuff. And so they officiating over marriages and allowing this stuff to go on.
Just because there's a Muslim, he Muslim or she Muslim, or they want to get together, you're trying to make it halal. It's not making it halal because that person may not be lawful for them. That has to be determined.
I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. She said, me and my husband been together for 2 years. And a real Muslim from church, he never told me that. I'm not sure what she meant by that.
Question related to the last statement. Is there any fake disagreement on that made by Naeem? I don't know.
Disagreement on what point? Because he typed that a minute ago.
Yeah. Mark Ward, can you reiterate that with some details? Maybe he didn't know, Sister Naeem. Yeah, he probably didn't know.
Muslim didn't know what? I didn't understand her question.
He didn't probably tell her about that. He's Muslim. She not. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to assume anything. Just reiterate what y'all have mentioned. Muslim can marry only Muslim. No, we already clarified
clarified
who can
that.
marry. Oh, Chase. Yeah, Chase. Let me see. But can I talk to him about it? May I talk with you, brother, sister? That's deep. Communication is important. Disasters happen without it.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the point of sit downs. Now listen to this. My question is, how are these brothers meeting these Christians or Jewish women? Are y'all dating, going out on dates? You know, y'all eating out, no third part. You know what I'm saying? Like, how was the setting? Because those conversations may not even be discussed. Right. Y'all dating because the brother feel like, I can't do this with a Muslim sister. But with this Christian or Jewish woman, and there's no shade on them, just how are you reacting to these sisters? Are you letting them know, like, listen, I believe that Allah is one God, and the last prophet is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. How you feel about that? Because that's how my life is revolve around that. How do you feel about that? Are you comfortable with that? Are we having these conversations?
Your page just jumped a whole lot, so I hope you ain't trying to get no more.
So,
She said, I'm a church woman, and he's a real Muslim. He never told me, and we married. Okay, so that shouldn't be a problem.
Y'all cool.
Y'all cool.
Yeah, y'all cool. As long as you are a Christian, you cool. They met at the club. Who met at the club?
Maybe being funny.
Yeah.
Yes, is there any fiqh disagreement on marrying non-believing women and disagreement on definition of chaste as practical?
Everything jumping.
Yeah, as practical to discuss in this forum. Just for the record, my understanding is close to yours. However, I've come across some argument about this. When you come from the perspective of tafsir, I haven't come across any disagreement with regards to who you can and can't marry. As far as chaste, I haven't. I don't know of any disagreement because chaste is clear. You know, maybe there's something I'm not familiar with. Maybe you might know more than me.
I agree 100%. A brother's belief that if they marry, disbelieve that they don't have to feel the rights of finance or even other rights of religion with them, and they do. The women have iddah periods.
Yeah.
You know, I'm saying non-Muslim, but that Christian or Jew that he married, if he divorced her, she has an iddah period too. But do he tell her that? Yeah, do he tell all of that? Like, brothers, y'all want to do things, but there are protocols that you have to follow. You just because it's permissible to do it, you got to make sure you following exact. You got to cross the T.
Who you the judge? Protocol, small
and dot the I's. That's regarding polygyny or anything like that.
Protocol, small. We don't need no
protocol.
Who are you to judge?
I'm not judging. I'm just telling you what the law and this message is saying. I'm not a judge. They're gonna have to be judged by Allah on the day of judgment.
Marry me an MGT sister.
You know, you see. Anyway, Islam is a way of life. Yes, it is. Alhamdulillah, and it's an easy way of life. And this is means of brothers to give dawah to their Christian or Jewish wives, because more likely they may have children. How are the children going to grow up? As a Muslim Christian, Christian Muslim, Christian Jew, Jew Christian? Like that's a whole lot. Like, y'all going to have to set the parameters. How are the children going to grow up in that household?
A lot of contemporary scholars restrict marrying Christian or Jewish women to living in a Muslim society for the same reason that you said.
SubhanAllah.
Is because in modern times, if a Muslim man marries a Christian or a Jewish woman and they have a divorce and they get a divorce, 9 times out of 10, the control.
Oh, okay.
The control of authority over the children goes to the women who are not Muslim.
Sister, is that your husband? Bettina, is that your husband? She said Michael was talking about whatever. Yeah, they might have met at the club. What are you doing at the club? What your brothers doing at the club?
Doing some construction work.
I'm serious. And then you have sisters, alhamdulillah. You have sisters, by the grace of Allah, I have Islamic page since 2013, past Muslim and lost Muslim. You have Muslim sisters that are meeting non-Muslim brothers because y'all brothers ain't doing what y'all supposed to do. What's up with that?
Not all.
Not all. They say I'm gonna have him to take shahada So I can see, they already know I can't marry him because he's not a Muslim. So I'm going to have him to take his shahada and then I'm going to marry him. And you ain't even give him, he don't have no foundation or nothing. Just say, shahadu la ilaha illallah. You ain't give him no foundation. You just put your finger up. If you don't put your finger up, whatever, let's go to the imam, let's get married or whatever. You take a shahada so we can get married. And they set up like that, then you expect what after that? What is supposed to happen after that? Like, it's crazy on both ends. Yeah. Mashallah. Would you like to join us as admin there and do a live discussion? Well, inbox me, or you can inbox him. This is on his page. Inbox him to give us some more information, and we could see what we can do, inshallah. Thank you for the invitation. You gonna read?
Yes, it was things like that I was thinking of as well, and some, I think, stated things were permissible but not advisable. Then on the other note, allowances by necessity, I'm not saying all of it was valid, but those were some of the things I came to. Yeah, because even if you go back to what I just mentioned about Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he was a Khalifa, advising other Sahabas to even divorce their wives who were Christian or Jewish, they were living under Muslim authority. Think about that. They were living under Muslim authority.
Right.
They weren't worried about how their children were going to turn out. Because the society is Islamic, and the men had a lot more izzah back then and all that kind of stuff. And so they weren't worried about how the children were going to turn out. Now, we worry about the children, how the children are going to turn out, even in Muslim countries. So all these things have to be taken into consideration. And the reality of it, a lot of us are not thinking about our future offspring when we get married. We don't care. We just thinking about me right now, what I feel, and I gotta get mine. Well, the fangs be coming out the mouth. The movies, the vampire, the fang come out the mouth, you start slobbering and stuff like that. I gotta get married. And now it's 2018. Some of your sisters real thirsty. Y'all fangs be coming out. I gotta get, you're advertising when your menstrual cycle's on and all that kind of stuff. Y'all crazy. Y'all sisters, y'all.
Yeah,
advertising your menstrual cycle. Yeah, y'all the whole everybody in social media know when you just had sex, when you just had an argument, everything. This is your sister. They just us brothers.
That is so messy. That is
y'all. All y'all.
No, all y'all. Subhanallah. They're
some other stuff. Abdul Hakim said, what is your stance on homeschooling your children, protecting them from the school of the disbelievers? I get a lot of backlash from people for doing so. My stance is that it's almost obligatory. And, and I'm saying almost because, how can I say? Actually, subhanAllah, there was a scholar, a beautiful scholar, who came around the turn of the century, named Yusuf Nabahani. He wrote a book dealing with this issue because he was living during a time of colonization, and where the Western powers were colonizing a lot of the Muslim lands and establishing these Protestant schools and these other schools. And so a lot of Muslims were sending their children to those schools. And he wrote a book-length fatwa against that. And alhamdulillah, by means of social media and Facebook, I was looking for that for the longest time. And the last time, several months ago, I posted that I'm looking for, I knew the name of the book, and I posted it. And alhamdulillah, brothers came through with a link, and I was able to download the Word file of this book, alhamdulillah, and I sent it to somebody to get translated. And that question just reminded me that I have to check on and see what's up with that translation, right? So, alhamdulillah. But in lieu of that, my opinion is that you have to take your children out of these schools. And a lot of us, and my opinion is that if your situation is where you have to send your children to these schools, you need to change your situation as fast as humanly possible and send your child to an Islamic school or homeschool or do something.
Yes, it's not going to be easy. It's not an easy task.
And this is on top of the homosexuality and that they're pushing down the throats now. Even before that.
Yeah.
Even before they start putting that in the school system. So that's my opinion regarding that. And again, that's my opinion. A lot of people want to argue because maybe they work in 2 jobs and they're a single parent and they got children, and so their opinion is based on their situation. Their opinion is not based on what it should be or how it is. Their opinion is on what's, what their situation is, which goes to show you, which reflects again, because somebody that's in that situation will get offended that I said what I just said. They think like I'm attacking them. I'm not attacking you. I'm just telling you what it is.
What it is. If you can, you can. When you are able to, then do it. When you have the opportunity, when the opportunity presents itself, Allah is most merciful. Yeah. He knows our intention. You might be working 2 jobs and going to school and all that stuff and everything. You might be a single sister and you got all this. But as soon as you're able to do that, I'm going to do that. And Allah is most merciful. He may reward you for doing that as if you had put them in the school, in the homeschool all the time that they wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew you intended. So we need to not change Allah and his ability to forgive us and have mercy on us. We don't have mercy on ourselves, and we don't have mercy on nobody else that trying to make it easy for them. But mashallah.
And also you have to, all of us have to continue to make dua for our children, because the dua that a parent has for their child is mustajaba. It's accepted. Allah accepts that dua. So even if your child is in that situation, make constant dua that Allah protect your child from the evils of their learning environment.
Another thing I wanted to, before we get back into that, just like when a Muslim woman would come to Medina and have her marriage absolved, right? You had Muslim women that apostated, who absconded and went back to Mecca. And the same ruling was for them to pay the dowry back to the Muslim men. But because the pagans of Mecca didn't believe in the Quran, they ain't pay it. But they was it was obligated for them to pay back that dowry back to that Muslim husband that she was with. So it was like, subhanAllah. It was just interesting, that story, mashallah.
In UK, Imam said in Friday Khutbah, this is not proper way to get girl from nightclubs and marry her. Then after getting married, you are telling her, don't go to nightclubs.
Right?
Don't wear mini dresses. Don't drink. Don't have boyfriends. So the proper way is to invite her to Islam if she accepts and marry her. And that's very important,
that
too.
Is so
that general principle is important, too, because a lot of times, and I've been there myself, you marry a sister who is doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm not talking about nothing like that.
I know you're not.
All right, so why are you looking at me then? Give me that look. A sister is doing, she's dressing a certain kind of way, she's doing this, she's doing that, and then you marry, and then you marry her, and in the beginning she may say, even if you discuss maybe some issues you may have with her, maybe if instead of dressing like this, why don't you dress like that, or instead of doing this, why don't you do that, and she agrees with it. A lot of times when that honeymoon is over, she wants to go back to doing what she was doing when y'all first met. And you're like, yo, but I thought you agreed. I mean, when you met me, I was doing this, you was attracted, right?
Right,
So like a lot of times you got to think about that.
And y'all brothers, y'all do that too. Y'all be having all these rules and regulations, but that same thing that attracted you to her,
right?
You want her to discontinue that. But that was the honey. Now you want the honey to be closed up now. Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but how do you expect her to react? To those demands.
Go ahead, read it.
I told my husband I'm going to take his son to church. He said, hell no, that's my belief, but this not with I. But his, not with I have one on the way, so I need help with this part. And my baby boy was due on the 12th, but he did come, so I want to get church, but the husband, no, you can't go. I keep telling him stop after my head like that. You my husband, but fight. You love him, but just like he pray, I want to not just him.
I think I get the gist of what she's saying. Y'all need to have a conversation. A lot of people are married, but they don't really talk each other. They talk at each other. They talk about the robotic stuff. You know, what's for dinner, where you going, like this, to that. Yeah, a lot of times there's not too much real heart to heart conversations. And usually when you do get a heart to heart conversation, sometimes when one person says something that the other person may not agree with, the emotions flare up and you start yelling at each other, so that really the conversation ended.
Or you don't want to mention certain things because you think it's going to turn them off, so you want to keep them on the leash.
Yeah.
And say, I'll talk to her about that later, or I'll talk to him about that later, disclosing certain information that, you know, if you were to say something, then it'd have been all bets off. They already told you up front what their expectations are. Yeah. And you know that if you were to say something, that they would be like, nah, forget it. I don't want to do this and stuff like that.
Right.
You know.
Father said, what's the proper age to get married in Islam? If you're asking technically, when you reach the age of puberty, when you reach the age of maturity. But for every person, every individual, for every society, it is separate. Is different.
Yeah.
You can't just say, okay, this is the proper age to get married. A person, a girl may be, you know, technically or biologically or Islamically an adult at 14 years of age, but she may not be mentally ready to get married at 14 years of age. Or a man or a boy could be, you know, 19 years of age, but his mind might not be right. Even though he's a man, technically, but his mind not be there. So, SubhanAllah.
Paul said the woman he's interested is a new shahada. He's a new shahada, but the brother's busy trying to get with her.
The other brother?
They trying to get with her. They ain't trying to be the wakil. They trying to get with her.
You know,
my goodness.
When a new shahada come, it's like you have the way I picture it in my mind. You know how like you had these like the dogs that they be having to fight each other, like pit bulls or rottweilers fight each other. How they have them in a cage. I just like you have like 7, 8 of them in a cage, just sitting there. And somebody just throw just like a juicy piece of meat in there. That's that new shahada. Right?
Everybody trying to get at it,
right? You know, so that's the imagery that goes about by whenever you have a community, especially if there ain't too many sisters in the community. Then a new shahada comes. Well, right? And then the poor new shahada sister, poor sister. Because if you're in that situation, if it's a small community or ain't too many sisters in the community, the sister's not going to like you. Mm-hmm. Why? Because she don't want you to marry her husband. So you ain't going to get no love from the sisters. Nobody care about your Islam. Nobody care about you and Allah and His messenger. No, we don't like you because you might marry my husband. And all the brothers, they love you, right? Everybody want to teach you.
Yeah, right? Everybody want to teach you.
Right? So that is a poor new shahada.
SubhanAllah. May Allah make it easy on you. Ameen. Any suggestions? I don't know if you belong to a community. Like, y'all need to go to an imam. And if y'all feel comfortable with that community, if she's comfortable with the imam being her wali, then he can, perform the marriages with, witnesses and all that stuff. But that's the only way you're going to get it out of that, because these brothers y'all ain't got no kind of like. Yes. I'm not saying all brothers. I'm not saying it's not all brothers.
A lot of brothers ain't got no taqwa no more. They do get married. They still gonna be like,
yeah, they be like, so what's happening? Y'all good? They might be hitting up her hard, like, y'all still good? Like, you all right? You need anything?
I always tell this story. There was a sister, and her parents is like, I don't know if they had any sons, but they had at least a handful of daughters, right? And you have to have known at least a couple of them. A couple of them was in my class, right? All of these sisters was fairly attractive. But one of them, for some reason, caught everybody's attention. So much so that the imam told the sister, he was like, listen, it's not my opinion that it's obligatory for women to wear niqab, but you have to wear niqabs. Cause like she would come through, and she wasn't like one of these sisters that come through trying to get attention with everything. She just go about her business. But when she come through, everybody like, ooh, wow, ooh, looking, talking, everything like this.
Got y'all forks
Right.
out. Y'all a
So
mess.
and so let me finish. Yeah, so right.
You was one of them?
She
Okay,
she ended up marrying a brother from another city, another state, and they had the a wedding nikah at the masjid. And so we were together at the time, and we was coming for the wedding, but we missed the nikah. We showed up late. I don't know if you remember that day.
I think so.
I always talk about the day. It was a very special day for me, right? So we missed the nikah. So, oh, mashallah. So I was standing out in front of the masjid with the brothers, and the brothers is like about a handful of us standing there. And I was like, and I was shocked. I'm like, bro was like, I was like, yeah, I missed the nikah. And the other was like, yeah, she married this other nigga, man. What? Nigga? Like, what, he was a kafir? Like, nah, he's a Muslim. Why you married a nigga? Why you refer? I was like, nah, man. One brother was like, man, I made dua for this sister. That I prayed to Allah that I'll marry this sister.
Allah didn't answer it.
And she gonna go off and marry him. I was like, well, did you talk to this? Did you try to get her sit down? Nah, man, but... You know, right?
You know what?
But like, so brothers was literally sitting around praying, "Oh Allah, marry me to that sister right there," but not
act like it was a janazah.
But not put. It was, but these brothers wasn't putting their bid in, right? And so, and I didn't know who the brother was. So while we in the middle of this conversation, I'm like, "Why all the negativity? She just got married, whatever." Then one of the main brother was like, there he go right there. He was coming, the husband coming, right? And so, you know, I was like, Assalamu alaikum, alhamdulillah, we just get married, whatever, alhamdulillah, I missed the nigga I was supposed to come. Other brother was like, yeah, why didn't you sound like one? I was like, subhanallah.
Y'all are a mess. Subhanallah. Y'all a mess. Y'all messy. Let's see. Nope, they shouldn't be.
Nope. Whole lot of stuff should be going on, but this is the time period that we live in.
Yes, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did not marry with women of the other book.
No. Only woman he married was Sophia, and she had became Muslim. Sophia used to be Jew.
Yeah, she used to be a Jew. MashaAllah.
How long do you wait to become divorced? How long do you wait to become divorced? I'm assuming that you mean the iddah.
They said the prison yard.
Oh, man, this thing ain't acting right.
I don't know. Don't cut it off.
How's your brother? He's had some years ago, he tried to marry a 9-year-old girl. And I tried to tell him, but the situation different time.
He almost got arrested and branded as a molester. Can you go into deep about this because men be out there?
Let me see. Hold on. Let me see something real quick. He said, "My brother." I don't know who is that. Abdul Hakim. Who you said? How's your brother? You said my brother, 9-year-old girl. I'm trying to figure out the my brother part. Like I know him.
What brother?
Let me know. I need to purify my circle. Why you say
No.
Why you keep trying to move it that way?
I don't know. It keeps... Look, see? You doing stuff. May Allah protect us. I have a great sense of humor, but I can't laugh at stuff like that. The bros envy and such a comment in relation to the marriage of the attracted. So oftentimes things like that destroy an already weak sense of community in the masjid. To be honest, I've learned it's a recipe for apostasy from the fold. May Allah protect and strengthen us and cause to love and trust what He decreed for us. I mean, I agree. We're making light of it, but it's not a funny matter. It happens. We're just trying to... We're not even trying to make light of the matter, just, trying to make it palatable so we can understand and relate. Like, yeah, that does happen, so that we can reflect on what we should be doing and not be doing and how we should be treating each other, especially these young sisters. When I say young sisters, she ain't got to be young, but a new Shahada, she's more vulnerable to having be passed around different brothers. And
people,
that's sad.
People nowadays are a lot more fragile than they used to be before. You cough too hard, the person be ready to apostate because you cough.
Yeah, so it's a bad situation, and a lot of people don't even look at Islamic marriages as being valid if you don't have, you know, the paper from City Hall. You know, they don't treat it with, you know, the honor and respect and loyalty as it should be. They don't give it as hot, and that's farther away from the truth.
Fred, 3 menstrual cycles. It's called the Iddah period, the waiting period. 3 menstrual cycles.
Right. Convey a great message. Exactly, Hanif. So we're not laughing. It's no laughing matter, because this is just situations that we see, and it should not be happening. But it's funny that people would mention, like, why are you saying something about this situation? How's people supposed to know what to look out for or what not to do if you don't give a situation or an example?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Prophet ﷺ gave many examples. Allah in his book gave many examples that we should follow. If he just said, don't do this, do that, this, whatever, he know how he created created us. We need time to let things settle in. We need to think, you know, like, you know, he gave us a brain. He gave us an akal. So just to say, no, you can't do that. No, you can't. Look at the hikmah that Allah presented. He didn't tell us.
Maybe you missed it, Fred. If you don't have menstrual cycles, then it's 3 lunar months.
Mm-hmm. Allah didn't say off the back, told the Prophet ﷺ, tell the people they can't commit zina, they can't drink khamra. That wasn't the first prohibition. He did not say that. He taught tawheed, because he know how people are. They love their drinks and they love to have sex. Mm-hmm. And it was said that they would say, we will never give that up. So he didn't come. That was the first thing. Boom, boom, boom. You can't do this. You can't do that. And what Muslims do when a new Shahada come around? You can't do this. You can't do that. Yeah, all this. You can't eat this because it got this ingredient. You know, all that stuff. Like, do the person know how to pray? Do they know who Allah is? Do they know who the Prophet Solomon is? Yeah, it's just like, oh, you can't take Shahada. Matter of fact, you can't take Shahada because you need to know the conditions of the Shahada. When did the Prophet ﷺ or his Sahabas do that to those that want to become Muslim? They didn't do that. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that. So why do we like stop people from doing the right thing? Let them get into the door. Then you have time to teach them and, you know, groom them and things. You know, that comes later. Because that's going to turn people off. Like, I don't even know if that's what I want. It's a lot that makes Muslims that open their heart. You just there to get them to the door and help them to, you know, help them to come in. If they want to come in, well, mashallah, you did your job. Subhanallah. So,
do you have any more?
I don't know what Toy Whitfield. What are y'all talking about? We're talking about what the original topic was Muharramaat, and which means those women that are prohibited to marry. So you're gonna have to listen to the beginning of the show.
Because we at the end.
Yeah, we at the end. We've been on here for a minute, mashallah. So I hope I'm listening to the beginning of the show. I'm over there jumping over my word. Can wife beat her husband? Can a wife beat her husband? I beat him all the time.
Only if you're the husband.
SubhanAllah. Agree. Big turn on brothers can be a bit hardcore at times. Yes, and I've seen sisters talk about non-Muslims like, it's just like the way they talk about non-Muslims. They say kafir, like these dirty kafirs, and these kafirs, this, that, and the other. We have to go back. How did the Prophet ﷺ treat the non-Muslims, the kafirs? How was his adab towards them? He wasn't nasty and all that stuff towards them. He actually cared about them. When that woman used to do things to him and she stopped, he inquired about her like, where is she? She had gotten sick. You know? He inquired about his neighbor. We don't inquire about our neighbors.
That's right. Hakeem said, don't bully my brother.
Don't
beat me up no
mashallah.
More.
We have to go back.
Abuse hotline. I think I'm calling.
I know. 1-800-BEAT-A-AKI.
1-800 better not try it.
But yeah, so we have to go back and look at the life of the Prophet ﷺ. See how he treated his family members that didn't agree with his way. He wasn't harsh. He didn't talk to Abu Talib all reckless and stuff like that. He had his back. Even though he didn't take his shahada, he still had a love for him. So how are we different? Or how are we better? SubhanAllah. Very happy to see this live. Sorry, I just caught the end. MashaAllah. Throwing Majul dates at them sideways as they walk by. You kafir. Oh! They don't even know what a kafir is. SubhanAllah. SubhanAllah. But yeah, we just got to do better and look out for our neighbors. People are literally, they're confused. They have, they fear out of ignorance because we don't talk to our neighbors. Like wherever you live at right now, just think about it. How much contact do you have with your neighbors? Even whether they live next door to you, across the street, on your block. Like, what kind of interaction do you have? It don't have to be intimate. It could be like, good morning, how you doing? Maybe their trash can rolled in the street, you picked it up and put it back. Like, that is the type of interaction we should have with those that are different.
Or their roaches from their house came to your house and you escorted them back over there. or their mice from their house left some droppings in your house.
Y'all gotta bond together. No. Y'all gotta bond together. That's the very reason why y'all gotta get together. Like, girl, I'm about to bomb my house on Saturday. So you down with Saturday? Because once we do the bombing, they gotta go somewhere, and y'all gotta get together. You so silly. But we're gonna wind this down. Alhamdulillah.
Before we close out, I need y'all to tune in to my channel on Wednesday, 2 days from now, after Maghrib, begin the same time, inshallah. I'm going to start teaching a short class, maybe about a handful of classes. Maybe I'll finish before Ramadan starts, maybe just into the beginning, on the Musaylama lessons. Musaylama is, or was, I want to say first, but technically he wasn't, but the first false prophet to emerge. He emerged during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he declared himself to be a prophet. There's a lot of information about him, his movement. It affected the Deen, it affected Islam, and we have to go into this to such an extent because we're being afflicted. A lot of us are being afflicted in our Islam because we haven't learned the lessons that came out of that situation. So we're going to be going into that, starting Wednesday and every Wednesday thereafter, at least for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks, inshallah. So tune in Wednesday, inshallah.
Inshallah. Hanif said we have lost touch with simple human gestures that help us to grow together. Exactly, because if you, just to end off with this, who was among the Prophet ﷺ and his Sahabas in Medina? It wasn't just Muslims.
Christians and Jews.
It was not just Muslims. And they lived together in harmony for a while.
You correct, Mark. Yep. His name was Wahshi. He killed the Prophet's uncle, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hamza. Then he became Muslim, and then he fought in that battle against Musaylama, the Battle of Yamama, and he killed Musaylama with that same spear.
SubhanAllah. Much people acting like history never occurred.
Indeed.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, if y'all noticed a few days ago, I posted that all imams, sheikhs, teachers need to teach this. Or, I'm not going to wait for them to do it. I'm the one who said it, so I'm going to do it, inshallah. And then when we get to the point, the contemporary aspects, whatever, I'm not leaving out names either. So it's very important. It's a lot of people want to just get straight to it and start calling out names and names. No, you have to know the proofs. And again, when I start talking about the modern day Musaylamas and the modern day followers of Musaylamas, the purpose of my class and my talk is not about them. The purpose of my class and talk is about us and the way our position should be about them. Because a lot of these people who follow these modern day Muslims, I believe they're sincere.
Right.
The followers, most of them. I believe most of them are sincere. They trying to do right by their people and do it all that. But a lot of us ain't sincere to Allah and His Messenger, especially to His Messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We're very treacherous with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Toy asks, "How long have you guys been married?" You can answer that.
Well, technically,
I didn't know technically it had 2 C's in it. Well, it does have 2 C's.
Technically,
yeah.
This time around, it'll be 11 years.
Yeah.
Altogether, I would say about 14. Yeah, about 14 years altogether. We had like a 6-year break. 7-year break. I'm going to say break, but yeah, we weren't married for like 7 years.
And that's your fault.
That's his fault. We ain't going to go into that. But we married in 98.
7 whole years.
And we divorced in 2001. And then we reunited in 2007. So that's 6 years. It was like almost 7 years. And we've been together ever since, mashallah. So, alhamdulillah. So, inshallah, we'll be back next Monday with another topic, inshallah. I pray that everyone that has listened or will listen will have learned something and be able to take something back that they can teach others and implement in their own lives. I pray that Allah protect us from the evil of ourselves and the shaitan and everything that's going on. And I just want to leave you all with this. Do not despair the mercy of Allah. Do not be fear-mongering amongst yourselves. Everything that you hear on the news, what's about to happen, what's going on, Allah is in control of all of this. And we have to stay firm on that no matter what. Because Allah is going to test us. He said, do you think because you say you believe, you will not be tested? We are being tested. And we're not even, in my opinion, we're not even being tested, not even a quarter or a percent of what the Sahabas happened to go through with the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So let's hope that Allah keeps us in this deen, help us to die. You make sure that we die on this deen, and our children and our grandchildren and all those that we know around you, those that are not Muslim, that they accept this deen. And I mean, and we be the ones that we meet Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that fountain, Al-Kawthar. May Allah allow us to be in His presence and not turn us away. Ameen, ameen, ameen.
My last word for you all is be content and grateful for where you're at. If you're married, enjoy your marriage. Be grateful. Talk to each other. Don't look for arguments or fights. If you're married, it's going to happen. You don't need to look for it. It's going to happen. So enjoy each other. If you're single and you're trying to get married, enjoy yourself being single while you're looking to be married, while you're looking forward to getting married. Don't get married just to be married. Marry someone that's compatible with you. You know, all of us have deal breakers. Don't marry someone that come with a deal breaker just to be married. No. So, the true one that's trying to get close to Allah, he has rida. He's content. He's pleased with where he's at. So we have to balance trying to get to our next destination while at the same time trying to be pleased with where Allah has us. So if Allah has you single, you need to be thankful that you're single, but at the same time, you work towards getting married and marrying someone. And if you're married, be thankful that you're married, because there's plenty of single people that want to be married just like you. Shaitan, as he said to Allah, and Allah quoted him in the Quran, he would prove that a lot of us will not be grateful. He would prove that a lot of us won't be grateful. And it's true, even with marriage. You find somebody that was boo-hooing, crying day in and day out, I wish I had a husband, I wish I had a wife. Then as soon as they get married, they're complaining about the husband or the wife. You're never content. And so you have to work on that. So, alhamdulillah. So, I'm not going to give you another football on that. So, inshallah.
Cool.
We thank all of you for listening. And joining in this conversation with us. I pray that what was said was beneficial, and I pray that if anything that we said was wrong, that you post the correction or remind us of it so we can correct ourselves, inshallah. And with that, we will close out. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت واستغفرك وأتوب إليك والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi.